Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So, where we were in the last class, I also totally forgot. Have you taken definition for that? Some notes related to laws, rules, regulation? No. First, we'll start with that. Okay. So, just give laws, rules, regulations, and consents as source of ethical guidance. Have you received the notes? And I forwarded to some students. You might have received. If you do have any doubt, then ask me. And I have some ignore notes. After this chapter get over, I'll be forwarding that also for you. Okay. So, right, laws, rules, regulations, and conscience a source of ethical guidance. Okay. So, start. Laws, rules, and regulations. Laws, rules, and regulations are laws, rules, and regulations are formulated by an authorized body, formulated by an authorized body, and are approved by governments and are approved by governments, approved by government, approved by governments for, for regulating, for regulating and guiding an individual's behavior either by restraining or promoting his or her actions, his or her actions. Okay, full stop. Varies. Ethics. His or her action, full stop. Varies. Ethics. Sorry, conscience. I told ethics. Please change to conscience. Conscience. Okay, where is conscience? Whereas conscience are the internal voice, which every individual, and last class I mistake something. Please, students, one of your friend has said for laws, rules, difference between law and ethics. I asked an example. One of you has said that about, I forgot what it is. Again, Shantanu, someone. Who is Shantanu? Shantanu is present here or not? Not. I forget that example. Actually, I thought of sharing. A rape, marital rape. He was discussing about marital rape. Okay. So in that, he said that marital rape is not illegal in India. It was not illegal since very long. It was not illegal. Very recently, they have added under the MTP Act. You know that, no, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Under that, there is something called rape. There's a condition. No, if a woman is sexually assaulted, she can abort the child. In that, under the rape, they have added the marital rape also. Okay, but it was not illegal. There is no IPC section for that. Okay, please note that. That's a minor difference. Right, where we left? Internal voice, every individual possess, which every individual possess, and thus acts as an internal guidance, thus acts as an internal guidance system to regulate an individual, to regulate an individual's behavior, to regulate an individual's behavior, individual's behavior. Full stop. Okay. Now you make a tableau column for laws and ethics. There should be some difference between laws and ethics. Make a table for laws and ethics. So laws, then ethics. Okay, under that. Under laws, right? Laws are written and approved by government. Laws are written and approved by government. And under ethics, right? Laws are written and approved by governments. Okay, and under ethics, it comes from people's awareness. Comes from people's awareness. It comes from people's awareness of what is right. It comes from people's awareness of what is right and what is wrong. What is right and what is wrong. It comes from people's awareness. Okay. Then under laws. Laws are defined and precise. Laws are defined and precise. Laws are defined and precise. Under ethics, laws are defined and precise. Okay, second point. And under ethics, ethics is not well defined. Ethics is not well defined. Ethics is not well defined. Then under laws, if violated, people will be punished. And under ethics, no such punishments. No such punishments for violating ethical principles. It's still in celebration mode. A teacher has not come. Or not? So violations if ethical principles are violated. Okay. So now you done. Then close the table. Continue the writing. So in the previous paragraph, what is the last line? Last sentence? Huh? Okay. So like conscience we defined and completed. No. Then you start below this. Conscience, comma, which is also called the inner voice. Inside single quotation you have to write the inner voice. Okay, conscience which is also called the inner voice, comma, heavenly voice, comma, heavenly voice. Okay, comma, God's voice. All in single quotation, comma, God's voice, comma, the voice within, and the inner light. Okay, the inner light. And the inner light. Comma, is derived from. That is, conscience is derived from. Conscience, is derived from the Latin word. Conscienta. The Latin word conscienta, which means conscienta, which means inside single quotation you write with knowledge, which means with knowledge. It means with knowledge. That means without knowledge, something like you're giving importance to your emotions and deciding is not called conscience. Okay. So it's something like a ignorance, the type of ignorance when you are just falling as a prey to emotions. But when you are giving or applying all those facts and figures related to that particular problems or issues, and then you are coming to a solution, that is called conscience. Conscience uses all these things. Okay. And in Greek, conscience means, moral awareness. And in Greek, conscience means moral awareness. Okay, moral awareness. Full stop. Next paragraph. Conscience is a special act of mind. Conscience is a special act of mind. Okay, it's a special act of mind. Conscience is a special act of mind that comes into being. Special act of mind that comes into being when an individual passes judgment on the goodness or badness of a particular act, goodness or badness of a particular act. Full stop and continue. One more sentence in this. It's not, that means conscience is not a feeling or an emotion. That you have to be very clear. Okay. Conscience is not a feeling or emotion. Is not a feeling or an emotion, but rather an intellectual decision. Okay. Then in small paragraph next, you note one small thing. Conscience differs from laws. Conscience differs from laws because conscience differs from laws and is wider than law. It differs from law and is wider than law because and is wider than laws because it differs from laws and is wider than a law. Okay, wider than law because laws uses general rules. Concerning actions. That is, you call the procedure established by law, no? In polity also you'd study this. There is two different forms of predicting an action. One is procedure established by law, another is due process of law. So in India, we are following procedure established by law only in most cases. So general rule concerning actions, and conscience, whereas or put a semicolon, anyway you can write, conscience lays down a practical rule. Conscience lays down a practical rule for specific action. Okay. Lays down a practical rule for specific action. Full stop. So this is the difference between law and conscience. So far they have not asked. They have asked only law and ethics. In various ways they have asked the difference between laws and ethics. Sometimes they may ask, there is a slight difference only. In conscience also we will be using law. We cannot differentiate law from conscience completely. So when we are deciding about things, when there is some issues which is happening in our life, then we will be also considering the law, the factual data also while deciding or bringing in some solution. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. We cannot simply take away law from conscience. Law is a part of conscience. Okay, so conscience is wider than law. So if they are asking some differences, differentiate between law and conscience, sometimes they ask for 2 mark also. Sometimes they may form as a question also. Then your answer has to start in this way. Okay. So now you write in the next paragraph, conscience itself, conscience is of two forms. Conscience is of two forms. One, antecedent conscience. Do you remember in the last class we discussed this? Antecedent conscience and consequent conscience. Antecedent conscience and consequent conscience. Two forms we are seeing. First one, antecedent conscience. What is that? Where we are applying conscience, to decide the morality of the morality of forthcoming actions. Okay, the future actions. And consequent conscience. Same, where conscience, consequent conscience, where conscience argues continuously about, the conscience argues continuously about the morality of the past actions. Okay, the past actions. Have you written? Then there are three types of conscience. Next one. Types. What are those three types we have discussed? Anyone? Do you remember? True loyal conscience and reflective conscience. Then write first one, true conscience. Okay, first one, true conscience. Have you written true conscience? Put a hyphen and write in the types. True conscience. Here, in this type of conscience, while deciding the morality of action, the person decides in accordance with fact. The person decides in accordance with facts. Okay, accordance with facts. O or R, just put R, and you can write in this way also. R, the judgment is a correct or accurate application of. The judgment is a correct or accurate application of law, application of law to the action. Okay, so that is true conscience. So what it's saying, only application of law, which is existing already in the structured format, in the organized format, is applied when we are facing some problems in our life, moral problems. We are going to apply the laws, rules, and regulations which are already there with us. Okay, that is true conscience. Then second type, loyal conscience or conventional conscience. Any name you can use. Okay, loyal conscience or conventional conscience. These are, put a hyphen and write, these are not outcome of independent reflection, comma, but of the molding influence of molding influence of social institutions. Okay, so that is, what does this mean? What does this mean? Already we have discussed this. Only we are writing notes. So what is the meaning of this? It's here the individual is not free to decide. There is always some influence or interference from the outside bodies or institutions through which he is growing up. No, the moral development takes place from various bodies which is inculcating the values on him through socialization process. What are those bodies? Society, family, educational institutions, media, all these are trying to influence his thought. So this is called as the, what is the name? Conventional conscience or the loyal conscience. Okay, here the individual accepts it wholly. He is not forced to. That we have to know. He is not forced to do it. He accepts it. He bounds it within him. So he doesn't want to come away or come out of it. Okay, so he's mention that point also, please. Otherwise, you will not remember. He is doing the individual accepts the moral values, through his own will, accepts the moral values, just moral values given by various institutions, like that, right? Given by various institutions, accepts the what I told, moral values given by various institutions by his own will, and apply by his own will to the various institutions, and apply to the problems by his own will to find a solution. Okay, to find a solution. Right. Suppose he is facing a problem, that means he is already adopting to these values, and he is accepting it through his own will. Not somebody is forcing from outside to decide on this. Okay. So it's something like which he also likes it, and he is accepting by his own will and trying to apply it when some problem arises. Now, last one. Actually, when we are talking about conscience, here nobody will come and interfere us. We are left alone. In that situation, how we are going to decide? So one time, like an individual may be already he is influenced. No, he is under influence, as we are talking about the loyal conscience, and he is loyal to that values. That's why he is accepting through his own will, and he is accepting it. Nobody is going to influence from outside. His mind is saying, okay, this is perfect because my society accepts this. I also go by the same line. So he is trying to decide based on that. That is why you would have seen some people, if somebody is forcing from outside, you consider like that. You don't like the society values. Your society has come up with values. Your family has come up with certain values. You have inculcated that values are inculcated within you. But what happens? Some individual doesn't accept it wholeheartedly. Something from outside is pressurizing them. But in that time, their conscience argues with them. No, this is wrong. Your society is misguiding you. But even at that time, no, some pressure from outside is making you to decide. So you are not deciding wholeheartedly. But conscience means we are saying that wholeheartedly an individual is going to decide related to certain problems. Okay, either he may be applying the laws or rules or regulation because he is confused. He doesn't want to take any chance, or he is applying his moral values which he has borrowed from various institutions. That is the second one. And last one will be the reflective conscience, right? That reflective conscience. So what is reflective conscience? So from the word itself, we can understand. So it's an idea of reflective conscience. You start writing. The idea of reflective conscience involves the right of, anytime the question may come, because so far this word has not been asked. Like this, in the single quotation you have to write. Okay, the right of free conscience. Sometimes now they are not asking, write about reflective conscience. They will never ask a question like this. They may ask a question like the right of free conscience. Individual always try to decide by the right of free conscience, and we also feel that is the right way to decide. Like this way the question may be framed. Okay, then you have to know what is that right of free conscience, because when this conscience was a new topic to students, they asked inner voice, celestial voice. Nobody come to know what is inner voice, what is celestial voice. Now everyone knows that it is inner voice means nothing but they're asking about conscience. So hereafter they will go for the next stage. Okay, so the right of free conscience. Put inside single quotation, the right of free conscience. The idea of reflective conscience involves the right of free conscience, that is, huh? What do you want? Again, the idea of reflective conscience involves the right of free conscience. The right of free conscience. See, don't, after some time, I forget what I told. And I don't dictate notes. I just take some points, I'll connect and I'll give more points from my mind also. That's why I don't know. You ask your friends. If they also don't know, let me remember something, then I will repeat it again. Okay. So the reflective conscience involves the right of free conscience, the right of free conscience, that is the individuals, that is the individual's right to, right to discover, the right to discover the good, right to discover the good, are to determine, okay, are to determine, right to discover the good, are to determine the ends of action, determine the ends of action, right to discover the good, okay, or determine the ends of actions, determine the ends of actions on his own, on his own. Okay, that means what? On his own means any way which he feels which is right. Sometimes laws may be right. No, sometimes our society may be right in certain things. Sometimes we feel, okay, I can borrow this from some other country has dealt in this way. Okay, where you would have seen that Irish law has completely eradicated, that abortion is not a crime. You can abort anytime because it has said that it's a women's independent choice. It's her human rights. But here we have some restriction that also should be rectified. Same way, but that is also for the benefit of individual only. Okay, that we'll see later, and it's not our area also. But like this, even Ukrainian law, where a man stealing of food and eating is not a crime. They have said that. So you cannot simply put him under the jail or under prison. Then that means a government officer has to be put under the prison because he is the one who is responsible for making him to steal food. It's a shame on the country. That way the judgment was delivered by the Supreme Court. Same way, this person can borrow idea from anywhere. Then he can come to a judgment. That is called reflective conscience, not from a society, not from the laws and rules and regulations only. All these will guide him. Okay, that is reflective conscience. Do you understand? So done, full stop. Then you write two more terms related to conscience, and we'll complete this topic. Crisis of conscience. Put a heading, crisis of conscience. Crisis of conscience. So what is crisis of conscience? We have discussed, no? What it is? Yes, right? When someone is worrying, when someone means any individual, you can mention even individual, is worrying, okay, is worrying that they, that what they think and what they have done, what they think and what they have done, okay, what they have done are totally contradictory, are sometimes it is very difficult, or sometimes, okay, that or sometimes it's very difficult, or sometimes it is very difficult to decide, what is the right thing to do. It is very difficult to decide what is the right thing to do. And at this situation, the individual may fear, and at this situation, the individual may fear, that is, the individual fear, that is actions. And at this situation, the individual fear, that is actions may be against the voice of conscience, against the voice of conscience. That is, actions is against the voice of conscience and hence ethically wrong. That is, actions is against the voice of conscience and hence ethically wrong. Okay, that is called crisis of conscience. Hence ethically wrong. That is crisis of conscience. Okay, you write one more thing that's important. Segment fraud. Next paragraph. Segment fraud. Should I write the spelling? You know, no? Segment. S-I-G-M-U-N-D. Segment. The father of psychoanalysis. Already we have discussed in class. F-R-E-U-D. Segment fraud. Okay. Separate word. S-I-G-M-U-N-D. Then space. F-R-E-U-D. Okay. Segment fraud. Believed that conscience was acquired through experience. Conscience was acquired through experience and that it was part of and that it was the part of the human mind and that it was the part of the human mind and that it was the part of human mind that seeks to make sense of disorder, that seeks to make sense of disorder, that seeks to make sense of, underline that, make sense of disorder. Okay, make sense of disorder and to deal with internal conflicts caused by guilt. Internal conflicts caused by guilt. Full stop. Okay, full stop. Then write a homework. Conscience, the homework. I'm giving a homework. You have to try it. Now, there is important thing which is lying inside this homework. Try this. Conscience is like a court of law. Conscience is like a court of law where the prosecutor or conscience, excuse or accuse, where the prosecutor or conscience, okay, prosecutor or conscience, excuse or accuse thoughts and actions, excuse or accuse thoughts and actions. All this should come in double quotation. Okay, it's a statement given by, put a hyphen and write Immanuel Kant. Put a hyphen. After the statement gets over, put a hyphen and write Immanuel Kant. Decodify this. There is one answer lying within this. Okay. Anytime they may ask in your exam. They have already asked crisis of conscience. They have all asked voice of conscience. Everything has been asked. Very few are left over in this. Anytime it may be asked in your exams. Conscience is very important topic. Every year or alternate year, you will be finding 2 years once, 2 consecutive years you will get question. Then next year there is no question from conscience, but there is a question from laws, rules or regulations or ethics. Then again you get question from conscience. So be careful with this chapter. Okay. So when you decodify this, you will get one term related to conscience. Okay. Let me see who has found out that. Now we have completed the laws, rules and regulation. No. So we'll start with the next topic. So we have already completed accountability. We have not. He should always go with the laws. Yeah, he has to go with the laws. And even if sometimes, the laws are not supporting, to be more empathetic in nature. As we have now seen that the civil servant has to not completely stick to laws, rules and regulation. He has to use some innovativeness in finding solutions. That you have to keep in mind. So where there is very strict implementation of law and the law has to be followed by you, you have to. Sometimes, as per the hierarchy, there is a law that you have to inform your seniors, then you have to take actions for very critical problems. Suppose it's an emergency situation, you have to act. In that time, you cannot wait for permission. You can break the law. Okay. It depends on the situation. It depends on the importance of law also. Okay. Yes. Now, next topic. What is your Ah, that is.
On the one hand, we are looking at different principles. One model principle can be from other.
Yes. What is your question? Always conscience is right or wrong? That is the question which is given to us. Because see, conscience is individual, subjective in nature. No, it cannot be always right. That is why a civil servant should not follow his conscience continuously. All the time he cannot follow his conscience. He has to first follow the rules and regulations and laws. Then only he has to apply it in his sometimes, okay, not in all situations. That you have to remember. So conscience cannot be right always. It will also be wrong because it is subjective in nature. For me, something is wrong, but for you, it might be right. From your perspective, that is called conscience. You may apply something and then predict the situation, but I may apply the laws, rules, and regulation, and I may say it is wrong. Okay, so that depends on are the way, which way I believe it. Yes. Hmm. 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 And that is why there is a contradiction. That comes a crisis of conscience, because your conscience says that you have to act in this way, but you're not going to follow it because you feel that it is not right. As a civil servant, you will always face a crisis of conscience sometimes. Okay, because you're not going to follow your conscience. You have to follow laws, rules, and regulations, but always you cannot apply the laws and rules and regulations as per the true conscience, where sometimes your values also comes in conflict, where sometimes you may think that the situation is totally wrong, the laws is not supporting it, but there is crisis of conscience. You are not going as per your conscience. No, you are acting against your conscience. There comes a crisis of conscience. That's called crisis of conscience. Okay, when you are, generally to say, I say your heart says something and your mind says something, and the laws, rules, and regulations. That is, laws, rules, and regulations is something the mind speaks, and your heart speaks in different way, but you're always following the mind. As a civil servant, you have to do this. So there comes a crisis of conscience. Okay. Now, good governance and accountability and good governance. No, this have you finished for your classes? I have done this. No. Done. No. Where went the board? I think the chair. Accountability and good governance. In this, we have completed accountability. I think so for you. Done. No. Now, good governance. What is good governance? So there is a formula we have derived already. Yeah. So this will keep side. First, we will start with what is governance, what is good governance, and all. So this is a very popular formula: accountability, transparency, responsiveness, and people participation. These 4 words has to be present for good governance. Okay. R and people's participation, PP. I'm not writing full form. This is one such formula we have given for good governance. So what is good governance? So first, what is governance? It's an art of governing the people. Okay. So where both the policy makers plus the policy implementers, those who implement the policies, have to work together, okay, in order to bring in inclusive government, where the interest of the common man is served, that is the topic for inclusive growth. You have that, I hope, in a economic session or something. You have inclusive growth. Okay, so governance is something like where the government, the different organs of government come together to act in people's interest, to promote people interest. How they will promote people interest? Why they are promoting people interest? To bring an inclusive government. Okay, so this governance, it become good governance, and now we are in ethical governance. Okay, we are in an era of ethical governance. So what is good governance? It's value-laden governance. Because this word good governance was first popularized, internationally, I'm saying. It was there, long back it was there. Gandhiji called this as Sarvodaya. What is Sarvodaya? You are not heard this word anywhere. Benefit, Sarvodaya means you are considering everyone's interest. Sarvodaya, acting in everyone's interest, common man's interest, Sarvodaya. And then Kautalya, even Kautalya has spoke about this long back. He has given a set of values to be followed by the king in order to bring a good governance in his administration. So what is Kautalya's words? That one single sentence is servant of a citizen. No, he should not act as in his own interest. He has to act in the interest of the people. That is Kautalya's words. He's not like Plato's philosopher king. You would have studied. If you are a philosophy or political science student, you would definitely come across all these terms. Plato's philosopher king, where king is different than others. He is a philosopher, he has to be different. But here, Kautalya has said in his Arthashastra, king has to always be below the subjects. Okay, his interest has to lie below the interest of his subjects only. So like that way. So that is something called as good governance only. That is why we are talking about good governance now. From World Bank in 1992, it has also came up with the idea of good governance. Okay, when we are writing a definition, we'll take the definition and all. So it's something called value-laden governance, where all the organizations, okay, all organizations, not only the government bodies, but also, okay, all organizations means what? So here, the policy makers plus administrators plus CSOs, CSO, what is CSO? Civil society organization plus people act together, come together, participate together in order to bring what happened? In order to bring good governance. So this good word has many meaning. Okay. In order to bring good governance. That means all the organizations has to come together in order to promote governance in a country. That is good governance. CSO means civil society organization. All those which you study, NGOs, non-governmental organization, and all the other bodies than the government is called as a CSO. Okay, non-governmental bodies, you put it like that. Unions. Yes, everything will be there. It's a part. CSO is a part. You also have a topic like that. Except government, all the non-governmental bodies will be included in the CSO, civil society organization. That is why it's called civil society. Okay. Have you done this? So another 10 or 5 classes only, no? Ethics will get over. Only fewer. This week and next week probably. This week only another 3 days, no? This day get over. This is Tuesday, na? This is not Monday. Another 3 more days we have. Then I hope you'll write test in this Sunday. Because last Sunday it's a new year. So your management did not ask for questions. And I was ready with the question. I thought of sending it. Then they did not ask me. I should not trouble you, from my side. So, yes. Have you done? See, this good governance is different from different aspects. First of all, it has to be a legitimate government. If a government is said a good government, good government brings in good governance. And for good governance, we need a legitimate government. So in legitimacy, we have various components. I'm going to discuss the components only here. See, first one, legitimate government. Legitimate government means something like rule of law, okay? Then independent judiciary. These are some of the attributes. So in India, do we have like this? We have anything like this? What is it? So you only have to answer because we are talking about you, your polity, your governance. Rule of law we have in India. Okay. We have constitution above all. The constitution which is supporting all the values like equality, justice. So in the heart of constitution, like the fundamental rights, we do have all these values which we consider as important for a legitimate government. And we have independent judiciary, no? In India, we do have independent judiciary. Which one? No, which you are talking about? Independent judiciary, how it will be in DPSP? You have a separate provision for judiciary, no? It's also mentioned, okay. But in judiciary, you do have separate constitutional provisions for that, no? Laws related to judiciary you have or not? Separate chapters, separate articles you have, no, for judiciary. So where it is ensuring the independence of judiciary, okay, autonomy of judiciary, and even the salaries, all. Okay, all these are going to the terms of service. Okay. All these are deciding, all these are giving the independent nature, defining the independent nature of judiciary. And above this, we also have PIL. What is PIL? Public interest litigation. All these are some of examples which we have can give. And everybody has to uphold the supremacy of constitution, including the bureaucrats, has to uphold the supremacy of constitutional values, where constitution is trying to bring a legitimate government only, and the government should not be arbitrary. Very good. Should not function with arbitrary powers. For that, we have control mechanisms. So first one is legitimate government. Second, transparency. This is a component of good governance. Okay, the attributes. We are talking about the characteristics of good governance. Second is transparency. What are those provisions which bring in transparency in India? Right to information, ICT, applications of ICT, e-governance, which brings in transparency. Okay, so like this, we have several provisions which are bringing transparency. Then accountability, we have discussed this elaborately. So we need not write here. What are those things which brings in accountability? Various bodies, keeping checks and balance of various other bodies. No, like for political executives, the legislatures are trying to keep in check through parliamentary tools. And for bureaucrats, again, we have four number of bodies: legislatures, indirect control, executives, direct control, and outside agencies also, CBI, CVC. Like this, we have various bodies to check whether these bodies are functioning properly, as per the rules and regulations. So accountability means checks and balance mechanisms. We have that. And the form like internal control and external control, we do have. Okay, accountability mechanisms. Apart from this, from people also, we have social audit mechanisms. This is citizen-centric institution. Social auditing is a citizen-centric institution. Okay, social audit. Then consensus-oriented. This is another attribute, consensus-oriented. What is this consensus-oriented? What are those things which supports the consensus-oriented? What it is? Participation of all sections of people, not only people, all sections. Okay. For example, citizen charter. Citizen charters. What is citizen charter, first of all? You can also put here. In transparency also, you can add citizen charter. What is that citizen charter? Gandhiji. Yeah, okay, good. So how a person has to receive his client. That is how Gandhiji defined. No. Every organization should have a charter. Yes, that is citizen charter. Actually, it was borrowed from UK. The citizen charter is, in the citizen charter, there is a provision. Okay. Where, in UK, major government has introduced it. But there is some small difference. When we go to citizen charter, we will discuss about it. But in the citizen charter, you see how the citizen charter has to be formulated, that all the stakeholders should be involved. That is called consensus oriented. This also started with private organization only. Everywhere private organization will be the leading organization to show a new trend. Same way in citizen charter, consensus oriented also. First, the private organization, even social audit, I told you how Tata has introduced social audit mechanism. Same way, he is consensus oriented also. There is the railways. No, in the railways, first time, the workers were participated in managerial discussion. To management oriented discussion, no, only management, the board will sit and discuss. But here the workers are also involved to take part in the managerial discussion. So that is the first time we brought consensus oriented, that all the stakeholders should participate. And now in citizen charter, we are trying to implement it. Okay. But it is also in for implementation level only. Right? Consensus oriented is one such thing. Then people participation, elaborately it is talking about how people has to participate. People participation. This we know. So what is people's participation? How people can participate? What are those things which brings in people? Yes. So what are the ways which people can participate? Even RTA brings in people participation. Voting, electoral, that is people participation. Yes. Grievance redressal mechanisms we have. Okay. So our grievances can be redressed. Then the ICT tools enables people participation. RTA brings people participation because we are empowered with information. Okay. Like this, we can add much more things for people participation, where people can participate even in the forums where the bills are placed and it is there for the discussion of the people. Okay. It's open for discussion. Like this, we have a lot of attributes. Even you can add administration, sound administration. Okay, this is also a character of good governance, where the administration has to be efficient. Okay, and follow values. Okay, value-led administration, that is administration in good governance. Okay, now take the notes for good governance, which is enough because here only you have to write. Okay, for good governance. Then in between, if you don't know anything, I'll explain that for you. First, start writing the good governance. So we have completed the last rules and regulation. No, yes. See, start right like this. The World Bank in 1992. The World Bank in 1992 has defined good governance as 1992 has defined good governance as the manner, inside double quotation you write, the manner in which power is exercised, the manner in which power is exercised, the manner in which the power is exercised in management of a country's economic and social resources, management of countries' economic and social resources for development. Economic and social resources for development. Underline that, manner in which power is exercised. Okay, manner in which power is exercised. So this is how World Bank has defined social resources for development. Now you write attributes of good governance. Attributes. Okay. We'll write only 4 topics. First, we will write what is the attributes of good governance. Okay. Then good governance in India. Okay. Then with the topic will be significance, importance of good governance, and last will be challenges related to good governance. This way we will finish this topic. Okay. So first, we will be writing small points only. What is the first topic? Attributes of good governance. Yes. Yes. Okay, right? Attributes of good governance. In that first one, you just draw a diagram. Okay, inside good governance, then you write, then you put pointer and then write. Okay, first point in that. Rule of law. Rule of law. Okay. And legitimate government, right? Rule of law and legitimate government. Okay, legitimate government. Second attribute, transparency. Transparency. No, you need not expand this. No, you know what it means, right? Already you know the meaning of all these things. No, so I'm just giving the attributes only. Transparency. Third, responsiveness. 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 Then consensus oriented. Consensus oriented. Consensus oriented. So that consensus oriented, I told about how the workers are involved in managerial discussion. You just write that is called as Kaya Kalp Council. It was existing. So Kaya Kalp Council, that council name is Kaya Kalp Council, where the workers also will be involved in taking decision. Kaya Kalp, K-A-Y-A-K-A-L-P, Kaya Kalp. Ah, yes, very good. Article 43A. It's also 43A only, no? Huh? K-A-Y-A, K-A-L-P, Kaya Kalp. So where the workers in the railways are also involved in managerial decision making. Okay. So then next one, equity and inclusiveness. Next attribute you can add, equity and inclusiveness. See, World Bank has given come out with certain characteristics that I will forward to you. Okay, those attributes I'll forward. Don't write every people starting from World Bank, the UN body. Lot of UN bodies has come up with the attributes. For everybody, we need not write here. Only very important thing I have given here, including everything. Okay, so that I have given. Equity and inclusiveness. Effectiveness and efficiency, equity and inclusiveness, equity and inclusiveness. Then equity and inclusiveness is there in our constitution itself. No, where it is? We have no equity and inclusiveness. 16. Why? Very now. Affirmative, positive affirmative actions. No, you see, that is mainly to bring equity only. We are providing that to bring equity in job, in education. We have reservation. No, why? This and all is going to bring equity and inclusiveness. In order to bring inclusive growth only, we have given that. Even very recently, positive discrimination. Very recently, we came up with EWS. No, economically weaker section also. It made a lot of news. So all this. So keep that in mind. And what you have written, equity and inclusiveness. Yes, next one. Effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness and efficiency. In order to see this, we have a lot of mechanisms like e-governance is one way that we can check the effectiveness also, improve the effectiveness of our programs. And also like there is something called sunset legislation in India. Have you heard anywhere sunset legislation? We are talking about the Indian perspective. We have to discuss what are those things which are improving the efficiency. Even very recently in newspaper, I don't know how many of you read it. NMMS. Have you read it? Yes, ma'am. What is it, sweetheart? Tell me. The NMMS means National Mobile Monitoring System. It's a mechanism which they introduced in 2021 itself. It is not introduced now. It was introduced in 2021 itself inside MGNREGA scheme. MGNREGA, we know that. What is that? Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act or scheme. So under that, they have introduced this because, yes, for online mobile attendance. Online attendance, for online attendance only, but they have come up with what are the problems associated with that. That you have to keep in check. You know, that you can also say that technology is important, but at the same time, technology should not be a hindrance to the people's actions. No, so here what they do, they have 2 times attendance. And what the people has to do, they have to go back home. Again, they have to be present here. So this what it is bringing, a lot of hassles. Especially the children who are attending the schools are stopped from schools because the mother has to come and give attendance and the children is doing household works. You know, like a lot of issues they have discussed there. Note of it. So they told that not only technology will bring an inclusive growth here for the government. In this way, they concluded the article also. So keep in check. So now where we left? What is the point? Effectiveness. Sunset legislation, I asked a question. What is it? What it is? Samindari system itself. What it is? Okay, so that is why that sunset legislation there only. So now in India also we do have sunset legislation. We still follow it, you know or not? Related to budget, when a scheme is introduced, they will introduce some amount for the scheme. No, some program. If that within this year, this much amount has to be spent. If that money is not spent, then what you can do within, as he said, within a period, within some time period, if the money is not spent for that program or for that scheme, then what happens? It lapses. You cannot take it away. You cannot take again for this program or scheme. That is left. That is the leftovers cannot be utilized again. That is called sunset legislation. Okay, so after time frame has ended, you cannot utilize the money which is related to that schemes or programs. So within the time frame, you have to utilize the money. Especially only one program does not come under your sunset legislation. What is that program? Anyone? So like as he said, every programs comes under the sunset legislation. If that fund which is allotted for that program is not utilized, we cannot simply store it now, or we cannot misutilize or underutilize the fund. Then you cannot embezzle the money. That is a problem which happened long before. What they do, they will just keep that money like same, they drag, they don't use it. It will be laying, idle in the account. Same, in the Gazana, it will be allotted for this, but the money will not be spent. After some time, government will forget, people will forget. Then who will benefit? Politician, bureaucrat nexus, 100 crore house. So now there is a sunset legislation, and one does not come under sunset legislation. What is that scheme? MGNREGA only. Okay, that scheme does not cover under sunset legislation. There is no time frame for using the money which is given for MGNREGA. Okay. Next one, next point. Attributes. Accountability. Accountability is one such component. Okay. Accountability. Then participation, people participation. Last one is people participation. People's participation. People participation. Now we have written attributes of good governance. No. And now write good governance in Indian perspective. Good governance in Indian perspective. In India, we have legitimate government which follows rule of law, a legitimate government which follows rule of law, and also it follows rule of law, and also we have various organs, which keeps checks and balance of each other. We have various organs which keep checks and balance of each other. Okay, checks and balance of each other in order to checks and balance of each other in order to control the arbitrary power, not to control the arbitrary power, not to control the use of arbitrary power, full stop. Arbitrary power, full stop. Especially there is an independent judiciary. There is an independent judiciary. Especially there is an independent judiciary. There is an independent judiciary. Okay, so that clock is not running. At 11 o'clock, please inform me. That clock is already stopped, I think. Now, previously it ran late. Now it is stopped. 6:40. Suddenly teacher, she said, he get heart attack. 6:40. Then I came in the morning, it's evening. People are now in that mentality. No, they forget what they're doing. Time, yeah. So you just continue where we are. Independent judiciary. Okay. So we have especially we have independent judiciary who questions the arbitrary power who questions the arbitrary power of government, who questions the arbitrary power of government and upholds the constitutional supremacy. This is very important part in good governance. It will not be forwarded in your notes. Here only I am giving, so you are writing, okay? Others also will not be forwarded. That will be totally a different document, which I forward to you. But this I have given in class as a crisp thing. No, when you read this, this is more than enough for your ethics paper, good governance. And your governance teacher also would have dealt good governance. How many of you already studied good governance? So you have better idea about it. So we are seeing from the ethical stand. Okay. So have still this you have completed? What you have completed? Supremacy, full stop. Next one. Next one. So that's the first paragraph, okay? And in India, we have mechanisms like, in India, we have various mechanisms like right to information, RTA, right to information, RTA, comma, open conduct of government business, comma, citizen charter, comma, citizen charter, comma, grievance redressal mechanisms, There is some site for this, okay? You can also mention near the grievance redressal mechanisms. We have various ways the grievances of the people are redressed. One such popular mechanism is CP grams, where people will be can log in and launch complaint related to any department in our country. Okay, not in international level, only in our country. You have to lodge the complaint. Then the department will settle it if you have faces any issues. Okay, so which is going to all these, etc. You put etc. And you just please add ICT also. ICT, that is important now. ICT. What is that ICT? Information and Communication Technologies. ICT. ICT tools, you know, we use this. This is something called as e-governance also. Etc. Which brings in transparency, openness, and openness, and enhances, accountability, and empower people, to participate in governance, Okay. So this you take 10 minutes break. We'll continue after the break. Okay. We'll continue and complete this topic and two more small topics only in good governance. Then we'll go to the next one. Before going to ethical governance, we'll be seeing two things related to good governance. One is social auditing and the other one is e-governance. This two we have to see. Then we'll move to the next. Okay. Others we'll be seeing under 7th unit. Yes. Take break and come back. Now, can you hear the voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you write the sound and effective administrative system. The sound and effective administrative system. With accountability measures. Here we need not describe the accountability. Already we have done under accountability. What are those accountability measures we do have related to administration? Internal and external control we do have, no? So all those will come here. Okay, internal and external control, the control which is exhibited by the legislatures, executives, all those things we have discussed already. Comma, and the role of civil servants. with respect to policy making, with respect to policy making, and the role of civil servants with respect to policy making and execution also. Policy making and execution. Policy making and execution. What are those roles of a civil servant? Put a hyphen and write. Put a hyphen. In the same line. Okay, so it continues as a paragraph. In the same sentence, you put a hyphen. So there are different roles for a civil servant to act in an efficient way. So now we are going to discuss the role. First one, instrumentality role. Instrumentality role. Or you draw as a diagram. If you don't want or get confused, then you draw as a diagram like this. Okay. First one, instrumentality role. There are different role of a civil servant in order to establish a good governance. And that first one, instrumentality role. What is instrumentality role means? Why an civil servant is used as an instrument? For what he is used as an instrument? For policy implementation. No. So put in that bracket, in the instrumentality role, you write in a bracket, a civil servant has to be a civil servant has to be an agent. Okay, has to be an agent in policy formulation. A civil servant, this nowhere you will get. So take care of this. When you're writing answers, use this. Okay, this will make your answer different from others. As an agent of policy formulation and execution, a civil servant should act as an agent of policy formulation and execution. Policy formulation and execution, comma, but not as masters. But not as masters. Close the bracket. This is called instrumentality role. You are used as an instrument only. Okay, you are not provided a value of your own. You are not asked to act as a master. Execution, comma, but not as masters. Not as masters. Okay, so here you cannot decide. You have to give input only. You cannot make the decision. There is someone who will make a decision. That's why we call this as an instrumentality role. Come on, next role. Next role is neutrality role. Neutrality. Neutrality role. Inside the bracket, you have write neutrality role. Civil servants have to be neutral in their approach. Neutral in their approach. With no political values, with no political values or ideologies, with no political values or ideologies affect their, with no political values or ideologies affect their conduct and behavior. Affect their conduct and behavior. Okay, this you know. So this is one role of a civil servant. One role is instrumental role, where he has to take the idea from the government, implement it to the people. Okay, where he cannot decide on his own and can be a master of his decision. Second is neutrality role. Neutrality role means here there should not be any political interference. He should not act with political influence, or he should not abide to any political party or political ideology. Okay, there should be a neutral decision making in this. That is why we have this as a topic, no, impartiality and non-partisanship itself. There is a topic for us in third unit. Okay, then next role, comma, close the bracket, next role. Commitment role, commitment, comma, commitment role. So a civil servant should be committed to constitutional values. Committed to constitutional values, not to any political party or political person, or to his office also. Okay, to constitutional values. Close the bracket. Constitutional values, close the bracket. Impersonality role, comma, impersonality role. Impersonality role. Next, no, comma. We are discussing the roles of a civil servant. No. So next one is impartiality role. Okay, impartiality. Sorry, impartiality. Or impersonality. You write impersonality only. Impersonality role. Impersonality role. Okay. That means following impartiality in decision making. That is impersonality role. Right. Then put inside the bracket. Put inside the bracket that a civil servant should not make, should not make bias or prejudice decisions. Okay, bias or prejudiced decision, favoring any individual, or a community, favoring any individual or a community. Okay, then anonymity role, next one, anonymity. What is the anonymity role? Why we are mentioning as anonymity role? A civil servant cannot come forward and say that I have decided, I am the one who has given all the facts and figures to the ministers, and minister has formulated this program. I have all the credit to myself. Can any civil servant come and claim like this? You cannot. You have to work silently without even showing your face. You have no face, you have no name. Nameless and faceless creatures. No, you have to act like that, civil servant. So inside the bracket you write anonymity. Civil servant has to be anonymous in conducting his business. These are the way you can bring good governance, conducting business. If you think that I want name and fame, what happens? Then why we need a political system in our country? Then bureaucrats can govern the country. So that's how. Anonymous, what I have said, act in an anonymous manner or anonymous way, he has to conduct the business. Anonymous manner in conducting the business. Last one, professionality role. Inside the bracket you write, a civil servant has to perform his functions. Has to perform his functions on considering or on the basis, on the line of, anything you can use, on the line of sticking to professional values. What are those called professional values for a civil servant? Already we have discussed this. Do you remember? Somewhere long back, once upon a time. What are those called as professional values? We have done. Turn your pages, not now. Don't do it. Otherwise, you'll be keep on searching. In your third unit, you will have, and I do remember like this, we wrote some rules, conduct rules, no, for civil servant. Under that, we made a table or column. Do you remember that? Under that, what we have made a table or column for what? We made it a lot of table or columns. Very good. So we have done something like that. Please go and check. Under that, you will have all those professional values a civil servant has to follow in his duty. Okay, so when he is performing his duty, he has to abide by the professional values. He has to stick to the professional values. This way you have to write. So now you read the entire line before the roles has started. The paragraph, no, I have started with some line. Execution, put a hyphen and then you have written all the roles. Ensures that good governance. Ensures good governance. That's it. Ensures good governance. Full stop. Then next paragraph. Ensures good governance. Next paragraph. Another important attribute of good governance is responsiveness and people's participation. Attribute of good governance is what I have said, people participation. Responsiveness and people participation, comma, And this is the foremost, and this is the foremost component of good governance too. And this is the foremost component of good governance too. Foremost component of good governance too. In India, we have several mechanisms like, openness and further transparency, for the openness and further transparency in the form of RTA, citizen charter, etc. is empowering the people, by providing them information, related to the conduct of government, and thus enabling them to participate. Full stop. See, this is very important. Actually, without information, you will not be able to participate. So how we are provided information here with respect to conduct of government business in India, especially we take RTA. It's very important move by the government. Although we face a lot of challenges, we face lot of restrictions. Still, there are a lot to yet to improve in related to RTA. And we also have an open way of conducting business. As far as possible, the government has to conduct an open business only, open transaction. It has to inform the public that how they are doing it. Even the public forums where they put the bill for discussion and all. That means when a government, what is the main business of a government? Business means not buying or selling shares and all. No. What is the main business? That is transacting the business. How they transact the business in the form of bills. When they formulate a bill and get it passed in the parliament, that's how the business is conducted in the parliament. Yes, no, in polity you'll study like this, conducting of business. What is the main conduct of business? Transaction of bills. So how the bills will be transacted only by formulating some ideas inside the bills, which acts in the interest of people, which brings the welfare of the people. That is the main aim of the bill, no? It's not some electricity bill or something they are going to pass. They are going to pass a bill that is going to bring welfare to the people. Okay, so when they are passing such a bill, what happens? They will finish their business here. And before finishing their business, they are asking the people. That means they are making the people to participate. Even though you have elected your representative sitting there in the parliament, he is going to conduct the business for you. That's the meaning. It doesn't mean that that person has all power. He is going to act. He is the toy of you, but here we are toy of them. We are treated in such a way. Actually, that is how the constitution treats us. The constitution says that people is supreme. People is the topmost power holder. You can question anyone. So what it means? You are electing a representative on your behalf. He is going and sitting. He is going to conduct the business for you. Then now what happens? Without people participation, it is zero. It's nothing. So what happens here? The bill is open up for discussion with the people. So people can give their own suggestions. The common man can read it. He can also provide with suggestions to the government. And if it is okay, many people are suggesting the same point, they will try to consider it. They will put inside the provisions of the act. Okay, so this is how we are trying to bring in people's participation. So that's very important. Without information, people will be not able to understand what is there, which is happening inside the government, which is happening inside the administration. Even the normal common man, educated man cannot understand what is happening. Then how a illiterate person will understand what is happening inside the government, how the government business are conducted. He will not be able to understand. So you have to provide the information. You have to create awareness to the people. Okay, see, this is how the business is conducted. You have every authority. That is what social auditing is doing. Social auditing is what they're doing. Empowering the field the field level officers. Who are they? Gram Sabhas. Gram Sabhas, no. What is Gram Sabha? Polity. Okay, we'll leave that to polity. Yeah? There is something called Gram Sabhas. The election of Gram Sabha, who are the people who will be member of Gram Sabha, that and all you will study in your polity. So here what happened, the field level body it is, PRI. So here these people are creating awareness, and they are also created awareness that they are empowered to question the government, question the administrators in conducting a business. Whether the resources are used properly, whether the programs and schemes are implemented properly. So these are some of the ways that people are empowered. Without information, you cannot be empowered, right? So that is why we have given this is the foremost attribute of good governance. What is that? People's participation. And if that is a foremost attribute, then what happens? What will be the link of the people's participation? Transparency and openness. That will be always linked to it. That is why when we are defining good governance as a formula, we have written GG equal to transparency plus accountability plus responsiveness plus people's participation. These are very 4 important attributes which establishes or which ensures good governance of a country. Okay, so done. Now you write significance and challenges. With that, good governance will get over. Right? Significance of good governance. Now you will tell what is the importance of good governance? Yes. Yes, very good. So write like that. First one. What are the importance of good governance? Okay, so effective service delivery to the people. Effective service delivery to the people. Okay, right? Effective service delivery to the people. Then second. Improving the quality of life. Improving the quality. Effective service delivery and improving the quality. Even 1 point only you can write. Same point. Improving the quality of life. Improving the quality of life. Enhancing effectiveness and efficiency. Enhancing effectiveness and efficiency. Improving the quality of life. You can write in the same point, or you can make it as a second point. Efficiency, effectiveness, 3 you write. 3. Enhancing 3. 3 of institutions. 3 of institutions. Okay. And administration and government, all. ... Okay. 3. Economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Okay. Then securing freedom of information. Next importance, significance. Securing freedom of information and expression. Freedom of information and expression. Only you are acquiring information, no use. You have to express it, no. Freedom of information and expression. Okay. Providing citizen friendly. Next significance. Providing citizen friendly and citizen caring administration. Citizen friendly and citizen caring. Citizen-friendly and citizen-caring administration. Caring administration. Using ICT to improve. Using ICT to improve citizen-government interface. Using ICT to improve citizen-government interface. Last is very important. Last point. Promoting organizational pluralism. Promoting organizational pluralism. What it means? Organizational pluralism. Think and tell. Already we have discussed various names we have given. We have also discussed in the attributes of good governance. 1 point we have discussed. Do you remember? Consensus oriented. There's a point like that. I told apart from government, all the other players has to participate in order to bring in good governance. That is something called as organizational pluralism. Put a hyphen and write. Civil society organization, you write state. Okay, state means government, comma, SCSOs, civil society organizations. State, comma, government. State or government, okay? Then civil society organizations. Civil society organizations. Private players, etc. Private players, etc. Act together in order to provide good governance. Okay, that is the meaning. That are not required. Provides organizational pluralism means what? All these people will come together in order to provide good governance. Now challenges. Shortly you write, challenges. So what will be the challenges? What are the challenges we are facing related to good governance? Anybody? Crass ignorance. Very good. Ignorance. Today we will be studying about Buddhism also. That first in Bhava Chakra, the first thing is ignorance. Ignorance will be there, but crass ignorance, we cannot do anything. So first challenge, right? Crass ignorance of the policy makers. Crass ignorance. Your friend has told no, right? That's the first point only. Crass ignorance. It's crass only. No, it's not grass. I told crass only, or not cross. Crass ignorance. I don't know. I pronounce in this way. What's crass ignorance? Already I have discussed this in class. Then you should know. You're saying in Hindi. No. So what is crass ignorance? See, what is ignorance? What is ignorance? You are not aware about the fact. That is ignorance, no. You don't know what is happening. You are blunt about that. You don't have any idea. What is crass ignorance? Continually you are in ignorance. You know, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Every time you are not ready to rectify your mistake. You are not come out of your ignorance. You say, see, I am an uneducated man. I don't know. No, this is not a reason you can give. Yes. You are coming to share something. Yeah. That is called something as crass ignorance. Okay. This happens with a lot of our policy makers. In India, they are like this only. They speak in ignorance. They doesn't try to improve them. Instead, they go for fight with other people, argument with other people. They say what they believe is true. They don't care about others. Simply blindfoldedly, they go and bath in cow dung or cow urine. Corona will not come and attack. These types of examples we are setting. Example setter. Second, corruption at various levels. Corruption. So these are some of the challenges. We can say ethical challenges also. If they are asking, you can mention all these things. Corruptions. Third, criminalization of politics. We already dealt this topic. Do you remember? Criminalization of politics. Now law breakers are becoming lawmakers. So what happens then? How ethics will be ensured inside? How good governance we can bring? So how they will benefit others? They will only benefit themselves. So criminalization of politics, that is another challenge which we have to come out. Next, violation of human rights. Violation of human rights. Violation of human rights. Okay. Violation of human rights. Then next point, less active civil societies. Less active civil society. They are existing, but they are not in action, so only they try, even though they try to, then they will be silenced. They are silenced, no talking. One person will try to talk, then chup karo. Power comes and speaks in different way. Civil society. So anti-Indian. If you're talking against the government, this is the word. Oh my God. It is on. No, less active civil society. Next point. Poor people's participation. Poor people's participation. This was also asked as a question. No, there are less number of young mind coming into politics. This way, one time they asked a question. Do you remember that in second unit we discussed? How will you encourage them to come into politics and all? So less poor people's participation in governance. Many are not interested to know what government is doing. Even if you are trying to educate them, then what happens? They are not ready to get involved. See, chalo here. I have a lot of work to do. Why I have to chase behind the government that you do your work? That is why they are there. You cannot go and talk to people like this because they have to take care of their own life also. So that's how. So poor people's participation. Next, delay in delivery of services. Delay in delivery of judicial decision, right? Like that. Delay in delivery of judicial decisions. Okay. Delay in delivery of judicial decision. That means what? Slow judicial process. That's how they mention like this. Delay in delivery of judicial decisions. This is also where a larger hurdle we are facing. Then next one. Red tapism. Red tapism. Red tapism. Last point. Voice of voiceless. Voice of voiceless is still voiceless. Voice of voiceless is still voiceless only. That means what? The disadvantaged people. We are talking about the marginalized community who are voiceless. Still their voice is not heard by people. Still they are remaining as voiceless only. They are silent. They are invisible creatures in the community. Nobody is going to care about them. Now, even though we have these types of mechanisms, this much mechanisms, nobody is trying to ensure to practice it. Okay, only except a few people. Now, we all are here. Nobody has filed RTA so far. And we do have, but even we are not ready to do it. Then how come a common man without any awareness, without any knowledge will try to do? So that's the question. Okay, so these are some of the hurdles we are facing in implementation of good governance. Then inside good governance, we talked about ICTs, no? So nowadays there are a lot of questions related to digital transformation. Then you have to know what is e-governance. What is e-governance? Using the governance which are conducted using ICT, that is information and communication technology tools. Okay, so for what purpose government is using ICT? For transactions, for communications. Okay, for delivering services, they do uses. Time saving, yes. For time bound delivery and for time saving, we are using ICT. Last mile connectivity. And that is the main problem. Actually, that will also be as a challenge we are facing now. So there are 4 interfaces which we have to know. G to G in respective to e-governance. Okay. G to C, G to B, and G to E. What are they? You all would have learned this, no? Government to government. That means what? Within government departments, within the administration. This is something called as e-government. Now, we are talking about e-governance, but this is e-government. Okay. You can also write a formula like this if you want. E-governance. Write the formula like this. E-governance is equal to e-government plus e-services. Okay. E-government plus e-services. I just, sorry, change this little bit. We can give like this. E-administration. This will be better. Anna, please don't scold me. I just think and then write. E-administration. Anna, we have to improve the formula. Anna. We cannot be circulating in the same thing. E-administration plus e-services. That is e-government, right? Like that. E-government. Okay. And then e-governance is equal to, this is right only, right? E-governance. Okay, we can say that e-government will be taking place in 2 ways. One is e-administration, which we are saying about G to G. E-services, delivering of services to the public. Okay. So where the government will deliver all those bills, utility bills, which they are bringing online. Now you can pay online also, all those. That is called e-services. E-governance is equal to e-government. E-government plus public interest. acting in, I am not writing in a big format. I am writing as a formula, so I am writing public interest. Taking into public interest, considering the public interest, that is e-governance. There is another word also, e-democracy. That is equal to e-governance. And much emphasis will be in participation. What participation? All the people has to participate in the governance, and that is taken care of. And for that, they are enabling an environment. Okay, that is e-democracy. So these are some formulas which you can make. Now you come here, this G to G is a form of e-administration, where the government departments engages with each other. Okay, they transact the business within themselves. That is G to G. And G to C, what is this? Government to citizens. Okay, still now we are in the phase of providing e-services. Okay, and a little bit of e-governance also. How? Grievance redressal, all this, where people's interests are taken into account. So we are not yet in the form of e-democracy. Okay, we are striving to achieve e-democracy. That is the ultimate aim. But what we are trying to promote the public interest. In public interest, we are taking into care about responsiveness. Okay, delivery of services to the public. All this will come where the government will interact with the customers. Sorry, customers means who? The citizens, common man. Okay, delivering the services or being responsive to their needs. All this will be done in the name of G to C. G to B, government to business. For private players. No, now they are also a part of stakeholder, no, one of the stakeholder who are participating in order to bring good governance. And this stakeholders are private players. So here the government will try to talk or interact with the private players. For example, tender allocation. Previously, they have to submit. In the offline mode, only tender will be conducted. Now it is not like that. No, when COVID has come, everything changed. Online tender. They started online tender. You know that? No. So you can submit online tender. So this way, how they are trying to engage with the private players. Government is trying to engage. Then G to E. Government to employees. Within their organization, within the department, they're interacting with the various employees who are there, who are working inside the government, public officials. So that is government to employees, right? So this is the various modes of e-governance. Done? Yes. So this way, what are the benefits e-governance can bring? So these are the way the government will interact. We have already achieved e-administration, e-services. Long back it has been done. And how in India in 1987 itself, we started this computerization of the departmental records. No, suddenly fire will happen. No, this building, short circuit happened, fire. Only a small location will get fire. Files will go away. They will ask what happened to files. Files all burnt, sir. Now you cannot tell that story. No, you have to digitalize everything. You have to store in the record. You have to store as a soft copy. So it cannot be erased out. It will be stored in the server. You cannot say fire happened and files flow away. You cannot unless you become a Trojan. What is that Trojan? It's like a virus you create. It's a form of virus. The same way we have lot number of viruses to infect the system. I don't know about server. I don't have much knowledge. So like that way, you have to think in order to corrupt the files. So in 1987 itself, the digitalization of records started happening. The introduction of NICE-Net. Okay, then the e-governance plan, which happened in 2006, all this promoted the various way of bringing the digital mode of conducting the services, government business. And we have popular services here under the E and mobile app. Nowadays we are going for M governance. Instead of e-governance, we are moving to M governance. That is mobile related governance. App, in the form of app, we are getting Umang. What is that? My government. These are some of the ways of e-governance only. And any other Digilock. How many of you are using it? None? So Digilock. Yeah, very good. So this is way that you are storing your documents. So all these digitally you can store it. Same way Umang. Umang, what is meant by that? Umbrella. program for all those services, utility services you get from the government. Like this, we have a lot of examples. The first program which was introduced in e-governance was e-Bhumi. By which government? Don't say government of India. E-Bhumi. No. Kerala was Friends. No, Friends. That's an app which they introduced. Nearby state, Karnataka. E-Bhumi for digitalization of land records. They started the e-government program for this. This was the first program in India which was brought for e-governance, e-Bhumi. Then from them we borrowed that also. And in India, centralized government are also using this type of software in order to digitalize the government records. Okay, like this we have a lot of programs, examples. Now you take, I hope don't take, otherwise you'll become tired. I cannot give questions for case study. Already 2-3 classes case studies. No, you escaped from case study? No, last class also. Now we'll start with Buddhism. You make your own notes. Okay, this I'll give in the next class, e-governance notes. Then Buddhism. Where you stopped? Ethics in Buddhism. Today, we'll see that. Ethics in Buddhism. Yes. First one. There are some concepts related to ethics in Buddhism. Okay. First, life is full of suffering. I am not saying this. This is said by Buddha. Okay. Life is full of suffering. That is the first thing. The first principle according to Buddha. Life itself suffering only here. Full of suffering. Okay. If you are born, you have to suffer. So life is full of suffering. This he gave a name as dukkha. Dukkha, dukkada, anything. But life is full of suffering only. Okay. Consider that. Keep that in mind. Life is full of suffering. So that he gave a name as dukkha. And he said there are 3 levels of suffering that you have to keep in mind. Number one. Suffering in everyday life. No, every day. The moment you wake up, No, these are some principles related to ethical principles related to Buddhism. Okay. According to Buddha, Buddha said life is full of suffering. Life itself is filled with suffering only. That is dukkha. That is suffering in everyday life. Heading is ethics in Buddhism. Heading is ethics in Buddhism. Under that, the principles which supports the ethical principles. All these. First, suffering in everyday life. Dukkha, dukkata. Even if you don't remember this term, doesn't matter. But I have to give, so I am giving. Suffering. Life is full of suffering. Every day, the suffering which is present in everyday life. The moment you wake up, every day your mother is coming and beating you. Take bath. Brush your teeth. You forget, you go to plate. Then she says, did you brush? Go. Suffering. So life is full of. My child tells this. You are always make me suffer. Now asking me to brush. I say every day you have to brush. That is the difference between dog and you. Dog also runs away if you take the brushes. You also run away. Same. Suffering is everyday life. Dukkha, dukkata. Suffering. Second suffering. Okay. Suffering due to. Right, like that. Suffering due to activities of sense organs. Sense organs. Okay. Activities of sense organs. Because of sense organs, we get suffering. We wake up, we eat, we get out of the house. Then we are going in bike, traveling by bike. Before us, a boy who's very younger than us. He is driving. He is sitting very casually. He is like this, peeping out from the Benz. Then our heart breaks. What is this here? I am older than him. I'm traveling by 2-wheeler. This person is traveling by Benz. All his father's money. That is suffering due to sense organs. You are observing something. You are inflicting pain to yourself. So right, samkara, dukkata, samkara. This is something called a samkara. I'm giving some example. That's it. Anyway, it can come. Samkara, dukkata. Samkara Dukkata. See, suffering due to, suffering caused by impermanence of object, suffering caused by impermanence of objects, impermanence. That means Buddha is saying all are object, okay? Passing clouds. No, we said no, passing clouds. Impermanence. There is nothing permanent. So, suffering caused due to impermanence of objects and our relation with them. Impermanence of objects and our relation with them. Suffering caused due to impermanence of objects and our relation to them. Okay, we are attached, no? Huh? Attached or not? Anything, even small object also we are getting attached to it. Possessiveness. That's Gandhi said in different term called possessiveness. So impermanence of objects and relation to them. You write Viparinama Dukkata. He gave a name called as Viparinama Dukkata. So he said life is completely full of suffering only. Everything, wherever you turn, you will suffer. Okay. So that is the first principle he said related to ethics. Now he is deriving one by one. Next point we will see. After this, have you done with this sufferings? All forms of suffering. Everyday life you have a suffering. Through a sense organ you are inflicting pain to yourself, suffering. Okay, then again due to impermanence of our object and you are clinging next to them. You are attaching with it and because of that you are suffering. If it breaks, if it runs away, if it does something, if it goes away, if your bank balance is 0, you suffer. Because you are attached to that. You are attached to money. You are attached to luxurious life. That's why you are suffering. If a sadhu, even somebody is crediting some 1 crore rupees in his account, next day that 1 crore vanishes. He never cares. Even if it comes, he never cares. Even if it goes, he never cares because he's not attached to it. Okay. So that's how he's saying a person has to live a life like that. Viparinama Dukkata. Second, this is first principle. Second, suffering has a cause. He says that suffering has a cause. If there is a suffering, there should be a cause for a suffering. Suffering has a cause. Okay. So there comes another important principle of Buddhism, that is cycle of existence. Below this, you are going to draw a cycle of existence. Buddha said there is suffering. Every suffering has a cause. Okay. If there is a suffering, you are undergoing some suffering, there should be some cause for that. Okay. Now you draw a cycle of this called as Bhava Chakra. Called as Bhava Chakra, cycle of existence. Okay. I'll go to the next page. I don't have sufficient space. There will be 12 elements. This is cycle of existence. It is called a cycle of existence or Bhava Chakra. Okay. Bhava Chakra. He says life circulates in this. Okay. That's why this is called as Bhava Chakra in this first one. Ignorance. The first cause. These are called as causes. Okay, we told you there are 12 causes which causes suffering in human beings. Now we are going to discuss those 12 causes. First one, ignorance. What is ignorance? He has given another name, avidya. Ignorance, he has given another name called as avidya. Vidya. Vidya means education, no. Avidya. Or we call avidya or something. Avidya. Bhava Chakra. Chakra. Circle, wheel. Okay, Bhava Chakra. Avidya, ignorance. He says that man is ignorant. You know, all life, not man or women, all which is born here in this world is in ignorance. That is why they are again and again they are getting born. Okay, they are not trying to rectify their mistake. Ignorance. Second, predisposition. Second cause, predisposition. This is also called as fabrication. Okay, otherwise he gives a word as samskara. Samskara. Predisposition. Predisposition. It is, he says that ignorance causes predisposition. One is connected with another one here in this cycle. Okay, that also you can connect. If you want, you can do this. Ignorance leads to predisposition. So without knowledge, we are trying to act in certain way. Predisposition. Okay, so it is caused by ignorance. We are preparing to certain activity. That is something called as fabrication. Okay. Then this ignorance and predisposition. Ignorance leads to predisposition. Predisposition leads to name and form. Or before that, you can write consciousness. Consciousness. Predisposition, it leads to consciousness. Consciousness. Okay. So consciousness is in six forms of consciousness. What are that? Eyes, ears, write that. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue. No. He say eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness. He is defined in that way. Don't see me as a lunatic. Tongue consciousness. Okay, then yes, body, intellect, mind, intellect consciousness. So he has said consciousness exists in six forms. Okay, so consciousness is something he calls as vijnana. Intellect, body, mind, vijnana. Instead of skin, he has said body. Senses, we say skin, no. So body and mind. Okay, six types of consciousness are there. So the predisposition leads to consciousness. Vijnana, V-I-G-N-A-N-A. This one you are asking, no? Then, next, he says that this consciousness gives name and form. Name and form. This he calls as Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa. Name and form. Why name and form? Child is formed inside a mother's womb. And now you come to that stage. You are ignorant. You are involving in certain activity. You are preparing for certain activity. And then that develops a consciousness. That's eye consciousness, ear consciousness, all those ... You want more and more greed, more and more thing. Okay, because of this now you form a name and form. Name, a structure is formed. Again, it is going to get formed within a mother's body, mother's womb. That is name and form. And now it acquires sense organs. This name and form, no, it acquires sense organs. We call this as embryo, embryonic stage. He is discussing about embryonic stage. Then comes sense organs. Okay, he says after that, the name or form, that is rupa. Rupa means an existence, will acquire sense organs. Will have sense organs. And what are that sense organs? You all know that, no? Eyes, ears, same sense organs. Okay. Then this sense organs leads to, the sense organs gives rise to, next thing, contact. So because of sense organs, you come into contact. Sense organs, because of sense organs, you are coming in contact. Even in sense organs, you can write Sadayatana. The name he gives us, Sadayatana. Okay, and this leads to contact, sparsa. Sparsa. Contact with the outside world. Because of sense organs, you are trying to contact smell, taste, eyes with vision, gustatory, olfactory, these types of contact you are going to get with other people, other object. So contact, he says this is sparsa. That means below that itself you can write the contact with the object of enjoyment. Contact with the object of enjoyment is caused by sense organs. Because of sense organs, you come into contact with the object of enjoyment. You come into contact with something which you want more and more. And you're enjoying it. You're seeing something. You enjoy that. The vision is very good. You want again more. Next it will follow. See, the sense organ comes into contact. Contact means sparsa. Contact with objects of enjoyment. Contact with the objects of enjoyment due to sense organs. Next comes, this contact leads to feelings. This contact leads to feelings of sensation. You can write feelings of sensation. Feelings or feeling of sensation. The contact leads to feeling of sensation. Feeling of sensation. So when you contact with some object, Now you get a feeling, no? Enjoyment feeling means you get a feeling. Through either visionary or either olfactory or gustatory or tactile. No, what are those? Gustatory means taste. Olfactory means smell. Like this, we have different sensations. No, the sensations are aroused due to the contact with the object. Okay, feeling of sensation. For that feeling of sensation, you write inside the bracket Vedana. Vedana, feeling of sensation, he says. And this feeling of sensation gives rise to. This feeling of sensations gives rise to. Okay, feeling of sensation gives rise to craving. Okay, craving. What is craving? Wanting more and more, no? You earn $100 in the morning in trade. $100, only $100, $200. By the end of the day, I want $1,000 here. 1,000 not today. I'll be the richest person to make this money. Then all the 1,000 will go away. $1,000. Trashna, you're again and then aiming for more and more, no? So you want more. If you like it, you want more. Craving. Trashna. There are 6 forms of cravings also, they say. Craving for ideas, craving for forms. Some people craving for forms, craving for some ideas, craving for sounds, craving for smells, craving for taste. Everyone will do that, craving for taste. Then this craving leads to clinging. Craving leads to clinging or attachment. Clinging or attachment. Attachment. Okay. So clinging or attachment. For that, you write in the bracket upadana. Upadana. So this craving leads to attachment. Attachment with that thing. You comes into attachment. Then comes bhava, that is becoming. Okay, this attachment will lead to exist. No, it creates a reason for existence, that is becoming. So this attachment creates a need for existence in the world. So that is becoming. So that's will to be born. We can say this is will to be born. Becoming means again you are ready to born. Will to be born. Okay, then I'll use white color, otherwise everything will be mixed up. This becoming will lead to birth. This becoming will lead to birth. The bhava or bhavana, we are saying, no, it leads to birth. Birth is something we call as jati. Birth. Or this is called rebirth. Again you are born. Rebirth. Unless you achieve nirvana, you will be again and again circulate within this cycle. That's why this is called as bhava chakra. Okay, then old age and death. Birth will lead to old age. When you are born, you have to become aged, no, old age and death. And then again this continues. Old age and death. Again ignorance. Again you are formed. Again you are existing in the form of embryo. Again you are acquiring sense organs. Again you come in contact with the worldly pleasures. When you come in contact, you develop a sensation, and that sensation gives rise to attachment. Cravings and cravings give rise to attachment. And when you are attached, you are having a reason to be born again, a will to be born again, because you are attached to something, worldly things. That's why you have seen that the people who travel from one world to another world, they say there are a lot of worlds existing parallelly with us. I don't know. We are not conducting some mysterious class and all, but it, then in the movies also they discuss, and many Puranas, in there also they have written like hell is there, heaven is there. There are different types of worlds which are existing along with our earth. So when people travel from one world to the other, they will have a form of attachment to something. Without that, they cannot come back to this earth. So that thread of attachment can be of anything. Either it can be of love, it can be for food, it can be of any visionary thing. So when you attach to it, you will come back again. Otherwise, you will be lost in the new world. That's how there is a theory. That's the same thing he's saying, that in the earth, why you are born again and again, because you have a craving for something. You have attachment to something. You are attached more than you think that it is unnecessary in your life. You are attached to that impermanent object in the world. So when this comes, this attachment comes, you are again and again involving in ignorance. You are born again. You are again involving in ignorance. Again born, death, age, old. No nirvana. No salvation in your life. Again and again you are there. This is why, that's why he is called, this is cycle of existence or bhava chakra, which continues like this. These are the 12 causes. He said, no, suffering has 12 causes. These are that 12 causes. And in that, desire is the topmost cause. All of this are due to desire. You desire for something, and that leads to suffering. Okay, right? Then next one, next, third. You have written that life is full of suffering. Suffering has a cause. Then that should be some solution. Or third one, cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering. Have you done that cycle? Finished or not? Over, no? Cessation of suffering. So Buddha said that, okay, we all have suffering. Okay, there is a cause for a suffering. And if there is a cause, then what we have to do? If we have to end the suffering, we have to stop the cause. That is cessation of suffering. We have to find what is the cause of our suffering, and we have to stop that. Cessation of suffering. Fourth one, ways to end suffering. So he himself has suggested some ways. Okay, that is ethics. The ways to destroy the suffering, ways to end suffering. Okay, so this he called as dukkha nirodha, the first one. Dukkha nirodha, stop that. Nirodha. Okay, last one. Dukkha. First one is dukkha nirodha, last one is dukkha nirodha marga. Dukkha, same, above. Dukkha nirodha, put a hyphen and write marga. Marga or marga, anyway. Na, margai. Death. Na, margai na. What do you call in Hindi? Margai. Path. For death, what do you say? Margai. The margai only this. Ana, dukkha nirodha margai. So you would kill the suffering. Kill the suffering. He's saying kill the cause. Ana, that's why you would have seen that. Now it is existing in different form. Kill the suffering. They say no. Whenever you try to talk or against the government, anti-Indian. Anti-Indian. Emotionally attacking you. You cannot talk. Oh my God, I am very patriotic in nature. This person is calling me anti-Indian. Then next one. So ways to end suffering. Here they describe eightfold path. In Buddhism, they came with eightfold path. This is the ethical principles of Buddhism. Ethical principles. Okay. So with this eightfold path, these are the ways they are suggesting to end the suffering. Now we are going to see that eightfold path only. Okay. So what are those eightfold paths? Yes. First one, right in order, right view. Right view. Right view. What is that? Samyak drishti. Samyak drishti. He gives a name like this. Samyak or samyak. I think. Drishti. Samyak drishti. Right view. Right view means without wearing glasses, you have to see. It is not like that. What is right view? What is right view? Which you have the right way of seeing your life. That is right view. Okay. Where you have to accept the four noble truths of Buddhism. You will study, under Buddhism, you will study four noble truths. So all those has to be accepted, and you have to accept the eightfold path. So that's a right view of life. So right view means the way you see your life. Right view. Second, right aspirations. Right aspirations. Right thought in your mind. That is right aspirations. So he calls this a samyak sankalpa. Samyak sankalpa. All academics names are coming. Sankalpa. Samyak sankalpa. SANKALPA. Samyak Sankalpa. That is right aspiration. So what type of aspiration you should have? You should have a good thought. You should have good thought about renunciation from worldly pleasures. You should have good thought about friendship. Good thinking. That is right aspirations. Good aim in your life. That is right aspirations. Samyak Sankalpa. Okay. Then comes Samyak Vak. So what is that Samyak Vak means? Right? Right to work, right to life, right to work, right speech. That is called Samyak Vak. It's Buddhist class, not polity class. Samyak Vak. Samyak Vak. That is right to speech, right speech. The way you speak truth. Gandhiji said about Satya. Not only about Satya. Buddha is not only talking about only Satya. He is also talking about the way you express your words. You should not hurt anyone even through your words. That's what he is saying. No gossips behind any people. Don't talk bad about others. Don't hurt them with your tongue. Not only with sword, with tongue.